Well, hello everyone. The OntarioGardener back with another PlateUp automation tutorial. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about Miso soup. Miso soup is part of the Soups Plus mod by Quack and Cheese that is on the Steam Workshop. The PlateUp Steam Workshop, head on over there to get the Soups Plus mod, which has miso soup, chicken noodle soup, and it also has French onion soup. Of these three, chicken noodle soup obviously is my favorite. Not to make, but to eat. I don't mind miso soup as well, depending on how good it is, but French onion soup I'll have to pass. Now, what you see before you is a quick little automation. This may look different than the other ones because you're like, okay, well, you don't have this and this and this, but again, this is because of every soup is different how you automate it and how you have to add ingredients. The miso soup doesn't have onion as a base, so this is the only soup that is made so far that doesn't have the broth with an onion. The broth is made from soybean. Basically, let's just fire it up real quick. And then I'll show you guys exactly what it does. So your pot is actually combining through here because we're combining this. This is a 5x3. If you don't count, I never count these two things because they are optional. But these it's a 3x5. So basically what is happening here is because you can't use one combiner to do two actions on the same tile at the same time, it fills up with water, it cycles around, it fills up with the soybean, it cycles around, it cooks the soybean. The soybeans are then cut up, basically, which turns them into tofu. It combines with the miso powder, goes back through again to get more water because you have to have this double water setup, and then it cooks it, and then it'll portion it just like that. There you go. And the tofu is, or I should say the soybeans, which is what tofu is made out of. That acts as the onion in the broth, and again, it'll cycle around. It goes to here, and because this is the second time, it's not adding more soybean. This is the soybeans taking the place of the onion, basically. And when you're doing the other soups, that's all it's doing. But I actually like how it works because it turns into these tofu balls or tofu pieces, cycles around. More miso powder is added, but it also needs water a second time. So that's a little bit different than most soups. You add water one time, you add the other ingredients, you portion it. This requires two because when you cook soybean, you have to almost, like, in a sense, drain the water out. You kind of press the soybeans based on the description to turn it into the tofu, and then you got to add more water again to get you your soups. So there it is. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty. I mean, this is probably the easiest of the ones that there is because you're only adding one ingredient. You're only adding the miso powder. This is acting, like I said before, this is acting as your onion in a sense, which all other soups use like your stock base onion. So that doesn't really count, and you're adding one ingredient here. And this is a very tight setup. Again, if you ignore these three pieces, which I never include those in the space that it takes up because they are, of course, optional. Now, if you don't have one of these, what's going to happen is this will continue to cycle. And the way around that is putting in... You could put it right here. This could be a smart grabber, or even putting smart grabber. You can put a smart grabber somewhere. But again, when you're at this stage, if you don't have a portioner, what you'd be doing is you'd be grabbing the pot off of this anyway. As soon as it cycles around, grab the pot, put it on a countertop, and there you go. That's typically how you start off doing soup anyway. And then you work on having some kind of cycling like this. But that's it, guys. Short and sweet. I want to thank you guys for joining me. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving me a like as well as a comment. Now, if you watched all three videos, the miso soup, chicken noodle soup, and French onion soup, what are your favorites? How do you rank those soups? Personally, not in-game, but for eating. Chicken noodle, miso soup, French onion soup. How do you rate them? 1 to 3 or 3 to 1, whatever you want to look at. Number 1 is the best. Leave it in the comments below. We can have a little fun with that. Also, guys, if you're enjoying these automation videos or any other video on my channel, as always, hit that subscribe button, tick the bell notification icon so you don't miss anything, and I'll catch you guys in the next automation tutorial. Take care now.